The son becomes the father the son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. It's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Just because someone stumbles and loses their path doesn't mean they're lost forever. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready. What do you think? With great power comes great responsibility. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. I'm with you till the end of the line. Tell me, do you believe? You will. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. And what are you? Genius. Billionaire. Playboy. Philanthropist. I am Batman. I could do this all day. Kill any god. None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. If you're nothing without suit, then you shouldn't have it. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And I am Iron Man. Fourth wall break inside the fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest. I would say that's morality. Moral law. Or ethic.
Hello everyone. How's it going? How's everybody doing out here in the YouTube universe? Online space, as they say. And sorry for the delay today and change of times. I was on a meeting for about 2 hours and it just, kept running over because I talk a lot, as you guys know. And so, there was, and also wait and talk for about 10 days. So I decided, okay, we'll get as much out as we can until the next meeting. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys hanging out here with me, and apologies for yesterday. I try to, with me, right? And I've said this before, so I'm not going to apologize too many times. But I have a neck and back injury, so sometimes I wake up and I just feel sore. It's random because of just the way the nerves are, and sometimes I sleep on my left side too much. Sometimes I sleep on the right side too much. Sometimes the neck's a bit crooked, and that affects the rest of the body. And just like right now, like sitting down for 2 hours, I had to put what you call kind of like a weight belt thing, but like more like a strap around the waist, so that my spine is a bit more supported by, by elasticated belt. So just a bit of compression on there. So that is why yesterday I just didn't do our show, like for Don't Hate Mondays, and it's, and I didn't feel like saying, I'm doing a Don't Hate Monday show, and then I don't even do a Monday show, and I then can't do Today Monday, because if I did Today Monday, then that would show, and then I don't even do throw aside the whole idea of like doing a Monday show. But however, I didn't want to like hook up with you guys, right? Like live stream and talk about how what I planned later on this week. But there's some awesome videos, like I've been grabbing videos and reaction things, and I've been watching a few videos from other creatives, and I kind of enjoy it. And so I'll highlight some of those today, as well as some things that have come up that, that I haven't, that I find interesting, that I'm not too sort of keyed up on. And so I'll let the other, these other creators talk about it. And then you guys can go check out their podcasts about them, and, their live streams or whatever, their videos, because that way then I'm not like repeating myself about what's already out there. So this is, of course, this is from minimal effort effort gaming. So give them a like, give them a subscribe, let them know I sent you, and and also check them out. Like, I'm one of the things I'm doing right now is like trying to subscribe to like any smaller channel that I enjoy of, right? Because that way you guys get to see their content if you haven't seen it before. Also, you guys can also go and subscribe and like and share their content as well. So I really appreciate it. And also, if you could do that for me as well, I'd appreciate it. If this is your pod, minimal effort, if I'm putting out your, promoting your podcast, I would love some Sukasa Mukasa or Casa? What is it? Mikasa? Sukasa Mikasa? Kind of like
You guys missed it. Gamergate 2.0 seems to have kicked off this week. And if you're not quite sure why I'm saying that, here's a little recap, kind of a TLDR about everything going on with everybody's favorite company, Sweet Baby Inc. this last week. So an article we have here from Fandom Pulse says Chris Kindred of Sweet Baby Inc. attempts to cancel a Steam curator for revealing their video game projects. Long story short, this company's Sweet Baby Inc. They are a game development and consultation firm. Essentially, what they've done is they've latched their name, their brand, onto a couple dozen big studios, such as Xbox Game Studios, Square Enix, Rocksteady, Electronic Arts, a whole bunch of.
Here's the thing that really, doing a reaction, right? So imagine hiring a company to re-gig what you're already doing. So it's like me going to, say, getting an editor and saying, not really an editor, but an outside body who doesn't know even what I'm doing, and telling me how to do my work, right? Or do what I'm doing. And they're not really qualified. They're just like let's say it's a political thing, right? So they just do a political overview of what my work should be. However, I wouldn't allow that. Personally, I would not allow that ever, because they don't know my company. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know what I'm about. They don't know my ideas, my ideals, what I believe, and what I want to do with the work that I'm putting out. Because as you guys know, I put up, we've got so many work coming out from us. So especially with comic books related stuff, right? That's all I normally do, right? And of course, as well as this like live streams. So I want you guys to know as much about me through what I talk about as possible, because that way we have some sort of camaraderie, right? We understand each other. You know what I'm about, and when I turn up, you know what you're gonna probably hear. And I like to take a middle ground on most things. And so having something like this show up, I mean, somebody like create a company that oversees something, and then watching them destroy your thing.
Different studios, guys. I can't even think of all the ones they're attached to. They've had a hand in many different games that have. Most of the games have been very, very. They've been flops. They've not been received well. They haven't sold well. There's been a few notable ones in there, like the Marvel Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok. There are certain games where it hasn't hurt the sale of the game, but there's been some controversy about it. For example, God of War Ragnarok deciding to have a Black Norse god for representation purposes. Spider-Man 2, there's a lot of the.
How do you like? This is what I know Valkyrie, and this is really what. Like a black Valkyrie in Norse, because it's about a race, right? With those people in Norse, Norway, Norwegian, their whole ideology, religion, it's about white people. They are white people there, and then you want to infect your own disease into it by making that Norse god black. This is what I think, like, as you guys know, I've said this often, like how bereft of imagination these people are, because they want to so-called change the culture on how people enjoy what they enjoy to represent, which is basically racism, of changing a person's culture, person's religion, belief system into their own ideology. See, that's the way they've tried to do that with Japan, with their manga, with animation. Oh no, we need more black people represented in that country's media. But I don't want that to happen in that country. What I want is Japanese creators doing what the Japanese creators believe they should do, left to themselves. However, Crunchyroll, right, and Funimation has a disease in them that they want everything to be westernized according to their ideology. And I find that very offensive as this person, right, who lives in a white country with majority bicultural European and Maori indigenous people, right? But also there's a lot of multicultural people. There's everybody kind of represented in this country. So why would you then want to go into another country and impose your own belief system on them and your own ideologies on it? And see, you can see here, by creating a Black Norse god, dude, there's enough African gods around. There's Indian gods around that are Indian and dark skinned. You've got like Native Americans who have their own trickster gods who are their culture. Would you go and put a European person and say, this is now the trickster god of Indian, native, indigenous people? No. So why would you do it the other way around and go into Norse, folklore and mythology, religion, and change that into a black god? I mean, that's disgusting to me. I find it offensive. And I think that's something that I wouldn't want to do, right? But these guys, these
LGBT trans agenda being pushed in there. And so there's been a lot of controversy about it. Then you have things like the Saints Row reboot, which was a complete flop. Everybody hated it. Starfield was a big bomb. Sweet Baby Inc. was attached to both those games as well. Forspoken was the biggest joke of a game ever. And that one flopped as well. That had them all over it. So this person that works for Sweet Baby Inc., Chris Kindred, found out about this Steam curator who had basically the idea of the page was to notify people to let them know about projects that Sweet Baby was attached to. So Chris Kindred, who works with them, decided, I'm going to harass this person and put them on blast on Twitter to try to get their Steam page shut down. Now, it's also really important to note this Sweet Baby Inc. company is also attached to Valve, the owner of Steam. So Valve is one of their clients as well. So there's a lot of, who knows how
all these AAA like companies who've been doing really well on their own. When you're doing so well on your own, why would you look outside yourself, right? Because you already have enough executive producers, creators, developers, story writers, engineers, whatever, coders, who you already have who are very skilled, and they've got you to where you are this way in the industry, like really big names. He just read them out, right? And I'm just thinking, because I'm not a gamer, right? So I can't go in and speak on this. So that's why I'm playing this video, so you guys are aware of that. Because I know the people who watch my channel, right? Who this live stream, because that's all I do. I live stream. We do clip our videos, but they're always from the live stream. So I found this very interesting. Like, why would you do that? Why would you bring in someone with no sort of respect for the property, who just wants to tell you, do this, do that, do that, and then basically ruin your company out of 100?
But at the time this all blew up, this curator page only had 9,200 followers. As of right now, well, we'll check in on the numbers in a second. It's blown up, okay? So this kind of backfired on this person. All of their tweets got revealed, all sorts of crazy stuff they've said, and it's gotten even worse. So if you look at some of the stuff that's been pointed out now, the original tweet was basically them, Chris Kindred, trying to harass this curator, get him shut down, trying to get Steam to actually close their account, because basically that's just how terrible these people are. Then you have people pointing out that Zoe Quinn from Gamergate was in cahoots with somebody else who goes by Lego Butts on Twitter, who was actually DDoSing a site that they didn't agree with. Now, I'm going to play it for you right here. This guy...
Isn't Zoe Quinn the one who was supposed to produce a Patreon Kickstarter game and made 80 grand US out of it? By the way, 80 grand, let me just figure this out. Like, what is 80 grand US compared to New Zealand money? And it's quite a lot. It's like around 100,000 plus. So let me let me work this out, right? So US 80 grand is what? 80,000 and about, yeah, about that much. So back over to New Zealand dollars, because we only deal with New Zealand money, right? Well, for conversion rates. So that is about $130,303.87, right? So that's a house payment, like a half a house payment here in New Zealand. So someone named Zoe Quinn, who stole, right, money to build, supposedly, right, supposedly stole money for a Kickstarter game she never produced. And this is something that, like, on Kickstarter, I kind of like worry about, where, I myself think, like, I got to fulfill, I got to fulfill my Kickstarter, promises, backing, because people have paid for this project, and I got to make sure. So I can't start another one until I've done that, right? So that's why, that's why that's why Robot Nation is taking a while before we kick it onto Kickstarter, even though the work's finished, right? Apart from the coloring's being done now, right? I mean, like, we're going to look at delivery at being August. We've had covers done for it, but I think this is kind of like, there's a lot of thieves around. I just want to say that there's a lot of thieves around online. They're thieves who steal art and turn it into the AI art, right? And then there are thieves who steal property that they don't own, and they re-put it up on Kickstarter and sell it as their own work, right? And then there are people who will, like, then tell you that you are it's their property, they can do what they do what they want with it. And then if you turn around and say, hey, no, it's not your property, it's our property, then they try to send you a cease and desist, because they want you tied up in legal things, right? Because while you're tied up in legal things and trying to come up with money to pay for bills and shit, legal costs, they're out there damaging your brand. They're out there making money off it over and over again, off the stuff they've stolen that you've paid for, right? And that's kind of like, that's the other side of Kickstarter. And then there's also the other side of Kickstarter that's also negative, is that people will put out, like, things that have similar names, and the original person will turn around and go, hey, yeah, you can't do that because my product will be diminished. I can understand that as well. There's parts where you go, hey, why don't we work together and maybe we'll do better? But I think for me personally, I think is like, if you're putting up a product, don't do the same name as somebody else, right? Especially if you're coming late to the game. Do your research, man. Do your research. Do a Google search. Do a comic book name search. Do a comic book character search, because you want to protect your IP. Listen, everything, you put out there in the world, you want to own it if it's your original product. So if you're going to put out something on Kickstarter, do your research on the first thing I do personally, right? When I come up with, like, a comic book idea, I'll write down quickly what's in my head. What am I doing, right? Like, put a paragraph, a character, whatever. And then I go, what should I call this? Sometimes I won't even call it anything. I'll just have an untitled thing. And I'll go and look online, and I'll go, you know what? Let's do a research of what kind of, like, titles aren't being used right now. What characters' names aren't being used right now. Do a Google search, because that is very helpful. We never had that back when, right? If we were like 20 odd years ago, we didn't have Google to help us research. The other thing you can do is there's like a business, each country has their own government business entity where you can protect your name via IP, via product, by what colors you use, even like Mickey Mouse, McDonald's. Like, there are, like, Disney has a specific colors that they've actually patented, like the mixing that you cannot use, right? The same way. The same thing with, like, I think it is like Coca-Cola does the same thing. Like, you can't use a specific color because they believe in their IP, and you should too. If you're creating a character, if you're creating a title of a comic book, if you're creating a story, You get it out there and you IP that thing. Like for us, like Plunge Enterprises, right, is also known as Plunge Comics, and we actually have a registered name with our government, right? So if you search it online, it will come up as a Plunge Comics, and Plunge Enterprises Limited NZ, and all that, like, because that's why everything we do is called Plunge. Like we have Plunge Studio, we have Plunge Convention, we have I think it's a Plunge Publishing, and sort of Plunge. There is something else like Plunge Movies or something, because or productions, right? Because we want to protect our IP, and you should want to do that as well as a creator. Don't be lazy about these things. Do research, man. Really, really do research. Protect your IP, protect your brand, because they're not just for next year. They're for years to come. They're decades to come. What if something you're creating pops off, right? Out of the 10,000 things you've done, one thing pops off, and that one thing that popped off, you didn't think much of. But the fans, the readers, the people who are into it think that's the one thing. And it doesn't matter if you don't like it personally. Whatever the audience likes, whatever the fans like, stand behind that, right? Don't be annoyed at like, oh, they don't like it. I don't like it, therefore they should not like it, therefore should I not promote it more. But if it's your work and you put it out, stand behind that, because you can never tell what will work and what won't work. What will like be the greatest superhero or whatever comic you put out compared to the 10,000 other ones that are your favorite. So you got to try whatever it is and make sure you protect it. Doesn't matter if it's just a side character or something. Protect it. Go onto your government's IP protection thing, whatever it is, registration thing. Register that name. That's like what I do with everything we do. I always go put a trademark on it, right? Because when I go to release it, I've already researched it. Say what's available there, what's not available, what names are available to use, what's not. There's some names I want to use, but I can't because it's already in use. So I'll go find something that's similar to what I want, and that's not available to that is available, I should say, and then I'll use that. And that's important. I think you should, that's something you guys got to think about when you go to create something, right? So back to Sweet Baby Ink, destroying.
Oh no, it's Alex on Twitter. He's the one that actually made this video, so shout out to him.
See, here's a tweet from 2014, not 10 years ago, where Felix at Lego Bus decided to at Zoe, saying we exploded their site. OMG us. Zoe responds with at Lego Butts, oops, we DDoSed something on accident. What they mean is they were having a conversation about a website called the Fine Young Capitalists. This is back in the Gamergate days. And by doing so, they basically sent pretty much all of their ilk to that website, basically just DDoSing that website inadvertently by having that conversation. In fact, here is Zoe Quinn admitting to that from the previous deleted tweets that she made earlier. Number 4, the DDoS was nothing other than shitty infrastructure on their part, being unable to handle the traffic from Twitter's convo about them. Ah, yes.
This is another thing I find really weird about social media and how much power people have now to destroy other people's work and other people. It's just like, why not just create your own work and work on getting your own work? Like I mentioned earlier, how this person, gamer, right, creator, developer, Zoe Quinn, supposedly didn't deliver on what she did. And she, like, 130K NZ, 80K US money she took off with. Yet she's out here destroying other people's work, not concentrating on creating her own work. That's like for us, as much as I love doing this and I enjoy doing this, I try to keep personal things away from here. Like and also like I don't like to get into attacks on personal attacks on people, because I think that's just not cool, because I don't want to be seen as that person, because I talk to a lot of people from around the world, especially for our interviews I do. I don't want them to see me as someone who does personal attacks on people, because that's not something I'm keen on. I've got people attacking me right now. I've got someone out there defaming me, and I'm like, hopefully you guys know me better than that, and that I put my heart and soul into what I do, and I wear my like they say, heart on my sleeve. Right? And I've always been like that. I'm always open about what I do and what my belief system is. Right, and so I'm kind of like a center left. Right, and I've always been that way, because I just believe that life should be, you should just do what you do and be left to do it, and not try to be, you should be attacked about whatever you're thinking, unless you're just a, effed up person. Then but attacking someone because you don't like them, I don't think that's pretty cool. But I think if somebody's wrong, you can kind of go, hey, this is what I think, and give your opinion on it, right? I don't think that's a negative, like giving someone your opinion on something, because I do that all the time. Like I'm like, sometimes I even sarcastically put out opinions on it, people, just for the hell of it, for the joke, because I think people, if you don't give an other side of the viewpoint, people just believe everything, right? So it's important to do it without attacking someone. I think that's the thing. It's like a personal attack.
Let me go ahead and use my large platform to talk about people and blame it on their infrastructure rather than anything else. So going back to the original post, we can see that Lego Butts at Felix at Home has direct ties to Zoe Quinn, who also had direct ties to Anita Sarkeesian, who also worked on Feminist Frequency, and now is directly working with Sweet Baby Inc. Everything that people fought against the last 10 years or 10 years ago about Gamergate, about ethics in journalism, about ethics in general, about not having actual agendas being pushed onto players and consumers and trying to force diversity and inclusion into video games rather than just letting the artists be the artists themselves, has never left or been gone.
And that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah, isn't it what I just said, right?
All these,
because I haven't watched this, by the way, guys. This is a reaction video, right? Rather than just leaving the artists to do their thing, you got people here basically imposing their own thing on it, and it kind of sucks. I think let the work be the work, right? Let the work speak for itself. Let's say let the putting, whatever they call I've lost it. Sorry.
These people are all connected. They all know each other. They're all scum. They're all pushing the same agenda. And this person here, Lego Butts, that they mentioned, Grums here pointed out on Twitter that, this other person actually shared it and then Grums retweeted it. Mithra is Fine pointed out that Felix at Home, or Lego Butts, says abort all the Jews. Now, I don't really care what your opinion is on the whole Israel-Gaza conflict. I've got my own nuanced opinion. That's pretty messed up. Then you've got certain things like, let's see. This is from Lego Butts again. Pay me to shoot down your white male lead game ideas. This is from 10 years ago. So this person's been working on this ideology, this train of thought for a while. I usually get grossed out when straight white rich people kiss, but even I think those two are pretty cute. Had a nightmare that I was a white.
I'm so tired of this reverse racism. I really am. I mean, recently I posted a video, right, about what was it Gosh, I can't remember right now. Let me see if I can find it. Because by the way, we're not going to stick on the negative stuff today. There's a lot of cool things happening. I just enjoy things, as you guys know. I like to be happy. I like to enjoy good things as well. I'm not keen on being on a negative flow of stuff. So let me just find out where there was I posted a video about yeah, here it is. It's only two something minutes, right? So let's cross over to that. So I'm just in here. So you guys and then we'll come back to Sweet Baby Inc. because she's talking about racism. So I'm going I want you to guys watch this, right? I've loaded up this week. This is
for you, Rachel. It's kind of a personal question. I just wonder, because we have a lot of non-Black allies that are at the anti-racist table trying to do the work every day. What is it that you could say for yourself has been your why that has kept you motivated, especially when you began this journey of really centering anti-racism and equity for all? What was it that was your why that you came back to? Because again, for you as a white female, that you have a lot of privilege, so you don't necessarily have to do this work. So just what carries you through, so that maybe we can inspire some of our participants who are trying to find their why of why they're picking this up every day to do this work when they could just put it on the shelf.
Yeah, that sort of privilege of ignorance and sort of the sort of fallacy of innocence. I think what's been important for me, so I think what's part of my bio that other folks might know or not know is that I grew up in rural Appalachia, and I think that there are a couple things, but really, actually, when I was an undergraduate at UVA, I had the opportunity to take a class with Julian Bond, who, you know, as many may know, is an amazing.
Appalachia, is that actually a place, or does she mean Appalachia? Is that I would think that she would know how to pronounce the place that she came from. But anyway.
He's been amazing for the university. Obviously, he passed away a couple of years ago, but I had the opportunity to learn from him in particular ways, and to be given those thinking tools that let me see differently, and also let me see. I don't know if you all have taken up Metzel's book, sort of Dying of Whiteness, necessarily.
I understand, like, you know, someone like coming to you who's like, you know, kind of like mentor, someone like a professor or someone, and just giving you an idea, or, you know, thinking, but you should be in your own friggin' understanding, weigh that up in the reality of things. I remember when I was at film school, right? One of my teachers, who I freaking loved, right, adored, she needed a patio done, so I actually laid like brick, big, huge 50 by 50 centimeter by 10 centimeter brick. I think maybe about 8 centimeter. Like, they were huge, dude. Like, you know, and pavers down for her and everything. And she used to do like she used to do like teach feminist classes and stuff, and she'd do filmmaking and stuff. And I remember, like, she's the first wave, kind of like second wave feminist, not like this fourth wave crazy nutcase feminist. And she would talk about how, like, her, you know, how the way feminism used to be. But I didn't like suddenly take on like, oh, you know, I'm going to go into the full on into it. So you kind of like, you weigh up, like, you know, balance out everything you learn from professors, because you don't suddenly become like, I'm going to follow their way. Because in life, you have a lot of people that can give you a lot of insight into things that you never thought about, you know, and like, and you have to be careful about what you take on and what you don't. And so, like, this lady here, she takes on this whole thing, right? Let me just skip back so you can see what, you know, she talks about this here.
Book, sort of Dying of Whiteness, necessarily in your reading groups. But I think, you know, the space that I've been in, where I grew up, you know, you could see it, right? The way that white people are actually dying of whiteness too, in my immediate sort of.
This is such a disgusting thing to say. That's why I titled this thing, right? As you can see there, right? That's why I titled this. It's okay to be racist. Racism okay if it's against white people. You know, it's like, I don't understand people who thinks two wrongs make a right. I can't understand, like, being a white person and then hating yourself this much, right? Really, I mean, it would be the same thing if I saw an Indian hating themselves this much. I'd say, dude, do you realize what you're doing? Do you have understanding of who you are? Obviously you don't, because look at all your family members, your extended family. Look at all the great things your people have done over the years. Look at how your people, you know, relate to each other. And I'm, you know, and then I'll say the same thing about, you know, the Maori people. Then I'll say the same thing with like, hating yourself is like living in misery. And I find this person must be the most miserable person ever.
Peer group. I mean, it's kind of personal, right? But it's like, I had a couple of cousins. They had friends, like the sort of toxicity of whiteness around them, and certain things that were happening for them.
Toxicity of whiteness. Imagine being on a public forum and speaking about your own family members this way. Seriously. If she was part of my family, spoke like that, I would have words. Is this how you think about us? We don't want you coming to our family gatherings anymore. Everybody that knows you now and knows your family will either say, this is not who we know about your family, and like all the other people will go, oh yeah, that's what we always thought. And you never want to kind of like be out here, representing your family this way, to like you say such hateful things, even if they're true. You don't want to, you don't want to publicize on social media, right, this global platform, about your personal life this way. You know, I know, you know, we've never had a great, you know, family life, upbringing and all that, but I won't go and pick on one or two things and like do this to my family members. I love my parents. Like, it took me ages to understand who they are, like especially my dad, and you know, and how we work together as a family. And now we're just like, you know, pretty close, as far as I know, for me. Like, you know, because when you're a child, you think you have your own ideas on things, and like it's like, you know, and how things should be. And I find like a lot of these so-called liberals or lefties are still children in their heads. They've never grown up. They've never been around anybody apart from their own kind. And by that I mean leftists, right? So-called woke people, right? Because if they were around other people, they'd get they would understand that there are so much nuances. There's so many different ideas on people. And I find this kind of like funny in the way, and kind of disgusting and sad as well, because to speak like this on your own family.
Many of them were dying prematurely also, right? Sort of in their 20s, you know, and I think it's just, I've had a range of experiences that have helped me see that, and to see how anti-Blackness, racism in general, and white supremacy in particular, that actually limits.
I like how like the idea of white supremacy is so overblown when you actually live in a very isolated thought pattern, because you know this lady has never been outside of her own like clique, right? Because people outside of their cliques don't speak like this, right? People who live generally in life don't speak like this, right? I mean, who are around other people. Like, I would never speak like this about, you know, because I surround myself with, you know, but accidentally, really, I'm just, you know, accidentally. I've got people who are not of my race who are my best friends. Accidentally, they have chosen to be my friends, right? And that for me is wonderful. That's a great thing, to have someone actually choose you as a friend. And then like I then reciprocate and try to be as best a good friend as I can. One of the things I do that is, like, for me, I give things. This is because I'm a person who likes getting things. So my love languages that we, you know, as we used to say, right, in the 90s or 2000s, was that I like getting things from people. I don't care what the cost is, and I've mentioned this so many times before. I don't care if it's a second, you know, second-hand broken thing, but if, like, you know, like getting a I just mentioned this because I just this fell down. I don't even mind if you give me a Batman that has a broken hand on it. Not that someone gave me this, I bought this myself, you know, because it's part of a lot of things that I got, and I don't mind it because it's what I love, and I think that's what, you know, that's why I find it really weird that people would behave this way, like and because she's never been outside of her own sphere of friends. She's never lived outside of that, you know, little clique she's got. Otherwise, she'd never speak this way.
It's my self-authorship for who I can be as a person. And I think it's a lot of different things that get people to that. But for me, that's a lot of what it was about, right? Is like, I can't actually be who I could possibly be because I'm stuck in this too.
Yeah, so it's okay if it's racism is okay if it's against white people, right? And that's just a crazy thing. I think that you know, people, you can't, two wrongs don't make a right, ever, right? We know that. Like they say, like, you know, if you're blind in one eye, you get poke the other eye out, then you're freaking blind, right? And that's why I find, like, people who you know, who don't get out of their cliques and see the, you know, experience other people's lives, that's who they stick into. Like, they have this weird twisted view of everything. And you know, because if you involve yourself in other people's life, they're not the same color as you, they're not the same belief system as you, and because, you know, people are very nuanced. No one person is the same to another person, no matter if they have the exact same experience, because mentally we think we take on things that affect us personally but we never, we don't know if it's what we are taking on is wrong or right. The only way we'll know is if somebody actually looks at us and goes, here's another idea. Have you thought about it? And then it's up to you to say, yeah, I think I was wrong on that. Or I was right on that. Yeah, man. This is what it is. And a lot of people nowadays think that like it's left or it's black or white. It's never that way. It's never been that way. And that's why I missed in like the 2000s and 90s, because we were on an awesome track to best being a global family where everybody just kind of like got together and kumbaya. And now we don't do that anymore. And it's kind of sad, because I think it's social media has what's created this thing, right? So let's go back to Sweet Baby Egg.
Male gamer. I just had a thought about trying this again with a photo of a young white person about to be ripped open, but I'm betting folks would immediately flag it as traumatic, and I'm guessing the image would get taken down before responses accumulated. That's from 5 years ago. Then you have...
Imagine saying that about a black person. Like, let's go back to that, right? Imagine saying this to about a black person, or Indian, or an Asian, right? Or a South American, or a Spanish person. But it's okay to say it about a white person.
Image will get taken down before responses accumulated. That's from... But I'm betting folks would immediately flag it as traumatic. I just had a thought about trying this ideology, this train of thought for a while. I usually get grossed out when straight white rich people kiss, but even I think those two are pretty cute. Had a nightmare that I was a white male gamer. I just had a thought about trying this again with a photo of a young white person about to be ripped open, but I'm betting folks would immediately flag it as traumatic, and I'm guessing the image will get taken down before responses accumulated. That's from 5 years.
That is so disgusting. Like I said, imagine whenever you... This is a test, right? This is a test you should always run in your head when someone says something, right? If it's, about white people, just turn it, reverse it, mirror it. Hey, what if it's about, African person, right? A Spanish person, a Chinese person, a Japanese person, Korean person, Indian person, Native American. How would you feel? Would you think that's racist? Would you think that's disgusting? This person didn't, because you never thought about, the opposite idea, whether this is what she's put out, right?
Ago. Then you have Endymion in here pointing out that they were also attached to Fable, the reboot, which of course is famous for this not very attractive protagonist. And of course, showcasing some of their biggest failures here with Saints Row, Forspoken, Starfield, the ones we already mentioned. So yeah, this company here is full of the most vapid, evil, awful people that create the most toxic environment. And all they do is hate their customer base. They hate the gamers. They hate the straight white males. They hate anybody who... And again, I pointed out in my last video about the whole black hairstyle thing. It's not about being against diversity. It's about when diversity and inclusion is always the thing that's being shoved at the forefront down people's throats when it's already something that we're okay with.
Everybody's okay with it. Why do you need to hire someone as disgusting as Sweet Baby Inc. And as you saw, they're disgusting people in there, like racist people in that company, to then come and inject more of it in the games? Well, all these companies learned the hard way that the customer base doesn't like to be hated. This is the same case when it came to Marvel with the MCU, right? Look at the $1 billion flop they had over the last 12 months, right? Even the most recent, right? With like Miss Marvel, what is it called? I can't remember what the name of that was called. Captain Marvel 2 or something. Let me pop over there to IMDb and let's look at how much money they made, right? People around the world are basically just, well, it's called the Marvels, that's right. Brain started working there. Right? Let's pop over there. Right? People are done with being pushed into liking something they don't have to like. Look at this. Right? The rating's there. 5.6. Right? Here you go. It made less than the budget. Right? less than the budget worldwide, right? And that's just one movie, right? Sorry, you can't see it too loud. There you go. Too large. Right? 2.6 million profit, like not, it's like minus 14 million profit. What a waste. This is what diversity and inclusivity does to your product, let alone your company, right? Let alone your other, other projects that you got going on. And it's taken loss of $billion, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars
Is already
me to go, maybe we should stop doing this, which is what people have been saying for the last 5 odd years or more, right? Maybe stop forcing diversity, equity and inclusivity down our throats, or the other way, diversity, inclusivity, and equity. Reality is, like I've said, we were already heading towards that without being forced into it. Nobody likes being forced into it, right? Or compelled speech type thing, right? I don't want to be told how to speak. I don't want to be told to watch my speech. I'll just say what I want, and then you can tell me if you like it or not. That's all, right? And but these companies hire people to tell them what to do,
including everybody. As long as you're not going to try to change what we like about the games. Again, no one's trying to change, no one's trying to erase black people or women or whatever from video games. They've existed for forever. So stop trying to force us to think that we need to be part of this like crazy ideology. And if you want to look at where the Steam curator is at now, his actual group is up to 31,000 members. He's gaining new members every minute. And his curator page, 78,893 followers. So this absolutely blew up in their face. Somebody, in fact, pointed out that Suicide Squad, which is another Sweet Baby Inc. Associated game, has less current active players than people that are actually in-game on other games attached to this group. It's just crazy. Absolutely mind-blowing. This has been like the most epic blowback to anything I've ever seen. Share your thoughts down below. I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, guys. So
if you made it this far,
give minimal effort podcast a like. Let them know. If you've never been to the channel, check it out. And let them know I sent you or recommended, because I think it's great. And plus, look, he's a young creator. I mean, young in the name of numbers, right? Like, so give him a like. Let him know what's going on. But also, I'm just gonna look like I'm gonna do a snipe. I've just learned my friends over at Niobe is doing streaming. So let's go and check out Niobe. So I'm gonna snipe a Niobe, right? Is that what they call it? I don't know what they call it. So hold on, let's go and check out Niobe and just do see.
That was the whole idea, is that the one guy was he was writing very good dialect. He was writing and then they wanted a Canadian character and wondered what he could do with the Canadian accent.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
There we go.
And I always loved Conan books too.
Oh, that's cool, man. I love, as you guys know, I love Conan. I like the novels, right? And I'm actually doing a.
No, this is signed. I forget who the artist was on this, but I had it signed.
Hey, Larry.
Constantine, huh?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Wasn't Constantine from like Hellblazer or something? Oh yeah, it even says it. Yeah.
He's got.
This was someone's indie book. Forget whose.
Did you go to the shop today?
No, this is just stuff from my personal collection. I'm going through my collection and I'm putting books that I've been buying for the last year and merge it into my comic book collection, and I'm gonna clean everything up and put it away. You know what I mean? So I'm going through boxes and I'm just showing people what's in these random boxes.
That's cool. I've been going through like a DCAU kind of been watching the show, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and try to get all the comics. So I've been starting with Batman, and right now I got like the Batman animated series. So right now I've got a couple random issues, but I got at least like 20 of them right now.
I've never done
Some
this.
of them are in
has a
order, of
little
course. Some of them
line
are not.
on
But
it.
the cool thing
I've been
about
on
it
a stream
is
when
that the
he's done it
stories
for
were
somebody
not.
else, but I've never done it while
Oh, that's
for anybody
cool.
before. So myself.
Oh, it's got the Band-Aid
Yeah, but
logo
Coyote.
on it.
I haven't got. Yeah, that's a new one for me. I haven't heard of Crash and Burn. Of
You
course, Critter.
recognize Tom
As you know,
Hutchinson's Critter.
Yeah,
we
Critter.
bought, Critter. It's over there somewhere. I haven't even
Yeah.
had a chance to put it away or catalog it.
Nice.
As you know, I've had like conversations with, with Tom Hutchison, so you guys could check that out on one of our
This is
streams.
all like most of this
I'll
I
only
got
be here
from
for a couple of
comic book
minutes.
shops.
I
You
just want
can
to see what
see
you
I got
got.
some doubles.
That's great though.
So I might put the doubles up on eBay. That's why another reason why I'm sort of going through the boxes to see, what I can get rid of if I don't need anymore or
It'd
want.
be great if that took off, because isn't he releasing that with Antarctic Press now?
Yeah, but these books here were from when he was with Aspen Comics, you see.
Yeah.
So Aspen Comics was owned by Michael Turner. It's run by Vince Hernandez now. At one point, they were partners. And so these books were in comic book shops back in the day. You know what I mean? And not even that long ago, maybe like 10 years ago, that's the story behind that.
So that could be cool though, because then those ones would be more rare. If this took off here, then those ones could be worth money.
A couple of minutes. Because I just want to
Not
see
that it's all
see his
about the money.
comment.
It's just that would be a cool aspect.
Because that's something I really enjoy. It's like seeing what people have, and if I have any of them, it makes it even better for me.
Well, I found one
No,
of his books
Yeah.
So I got
wow.
two of those.
Cool.
in a shop.
That could almost looks like Catwoman. That cover.
A Gail Simone book, Crosswind, Curse of Spawn. Two of those.
I actually
can get
have
rid
the
of
first
those.
appearance, 2 copies, I think, of first appearance of Angela. I didn't even know that existed, the Curse of Spawn with Angela on the cover.
Cyber Force, of course,
I have the
classic
Cyber
image,
Force.
Mark Silvestri.
Might have to look up which one I have.
Cyberfrog. Whoa.
Well, I never.
This Shiver Frog.
What do you
I'm
think,
like,
Ethan?
I've never owned a.
So Yogi's here. Since when is
No,
Larry
no,
saying
no.
"I love you" to me? It's crazy. Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome, man.
I have the Cyberpunk toy.
There's a cool one.
Not
I
the
want to see
comic.
some of those Cyberpunk books.
Yeah. Where is he? He's up there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll show another stack, and then Stack can show us what he's got going on, and come back to this a little later.
Yeah, let me move my
I
computer
haven't
because I got
been
a
on,
second.
like, I used to
I'll be right
guest
back.
on,
Yeah, you take your time then. I'll show books until you come back.
I used to guest on
That's awesome. Trauma Team.
Yeah,
on
it's pretty
Ivy
good.
stream.
I'm a big fan
just because
of
I
the
just
game, so
picked up 3 more projects.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the whole
Busy doing that.
genre.
yeah.
And I'll show you them
Me
soon.
too.
The project, the artwork that we've been doing.
Cyber Spectre, huh? That's cool.
I know I've got one of the cycle books from that first one, just before previous ones, I should say. All right, I think that's enough there for us, right, guys? Enough sniping, because I just wanted to see the comics. Now, let's go and have a look at. So recently, right, Pensacola Comic-Con happened, right? And or convention, or whatever they call it, Pensacon. Pensacon? Okay. So this was shared, this was shared. And so Pensacon is happening this week, and I'm excited to discuss all things AI and writing. Join us to learn about our AI program. So, as you know, right, AI is a huge issue for creators. I know it's here. You got to get used to it. But one of the things about AI is, right, is that it's not about like, let me just put this in here, Pentagon, right? So the thing about AI is that it's not removing art, it's removing the human element from art. It's basically stealing other people's art. So my question is, how do you discuss that with someone who's a friend who's like basically using AI art on their product, right? How, because like if I mean, how do you as an artist say to somebody, stop doing that, right? I don't know how to. Do you guys know how to? Because for me as a creator, I'm totally against the AI, where the AI is stealing other people's work, because I know one day it'll do that to our work, right, from our creators. And so then I'll be like, oh, say, imagine like in that time, I go, oh, why? And then like now I don't speak about it. That's why I'm saying, if AI is taking work that I'm creating from my own, for myself, that I use my own art, and I use AI to help me make some more art, it's kind of like mock-ups or whatever ideas that I'm okay with that when it comes to AI, using my own for myself. I'm not keen on AI using other people's work to profit other people. Now, I want to show you something. Let me just pop out of that. But the thing is that they actually, people are there teaching you how to use AI, how to do writing using AI and all that, right? Not using their own AI stuff, right? I mean, not using their own work, but using other people's work, right? And I think that's the problem I have with AI. And this is something we discussed like a while back with Ben Dunn. And I actually agreed with him that fact is that if you're going to create, use AI, use it based on your own work, feed your own work to it, right? Not somebody else's work. So Pensacon, right, had this huge thing this week, right, in regards to this whole thing. So this is the work, right? They're stolen and AI generated and then gifted to the executives, right? Which is what they're saying here. So here we go. So this was their response. Editing this to say we are dealing with matters internally, because the artist basically said this guy had stolen their work. And this is the work, just before we go to that, right? This is the work. So AI generated art used by an art thief, because that's what they are, taking somebody's work and regurgitating it, not their own creation, but someone else's original work, and then gifting it, right, to Pensacon. And so Pensacon were told that this is AI art. So then they sided with the person who gave them a free gift. Get it? Oh, we got given this, it's free. So I can't side with the artist who didn't give me anything. I'm going to side with someone who gave me the free art. Been through this before myself, personal life, right? With someone, it's human nature to side with someone who gives you free stuff over someone who doesn't, right? That's what I think anyway. That's my opinion. And it's natural, right? So here goes. Editing this to say we're dealing with matters internally. This is the executive from Pentagon. Externally, we apologize to anyone threatened with a lawsuit. Those whose art was stolen. Right? You didn't check. You just used it, promoted it, splashed it all out there. Then the guy says it's my art. You didn't take it down. Now the guy's gonna, hopefully. And here's the thing: we have for the past 5 years run Plunge Pop Culture and Comic Book Convention here in New Zealand, in Whangarei, in my city here, right, for 5 years, right? AI has only been around for a little bit internationally in a big, huge way, right? So I haven't had to deal with that. But now going forward, I will be. At the next convention, we like making sure no AI, right? Because why would I have actual artists who are paying, you know, to be at my, you know, for a booth, and also selling work when they next to someone who's stolen art, right, and is selling their art. And of course, this is the thing about this AI art. Everybody thinks they look cool, so they don't care if it's stolen or not. As long as it looks cool, they're okay with it. But why would an artist pay you money to have a booth? This is my take on this, right? Because as a convention runner, right, event runner, manager, I've done two, like not only our own, we've co-managed another one, like way bigger than ours, like 10 times bigger than ours, right? Might actually be 15 times. No, it's 10 times. So why would why would an artist be okay to have his work original? You know, every painting takes, every piece of work takes ages, right? And you don't know that unless you're an artist. And I know recently people were saying the hardest thing, you know, in making comics is the shipping and the publishing. That's the freaking easiest. It takes a bit of time, but it's the easiest. It can take 2 years or a year and a half, 6 months just to put out one issue, right? I've had a comic that we've just finished the last issue, the last page of after 2 years, because the person who was working with us has had so much things go on with their lives. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. Other ones we've slowly got done, you know. There's other ones, there's 3 issues, 3 books that we're working right now. That's pages are coming every day, right? So art is the hardest thing and takes the most longest time. And even as a writer, I know I can write a couple pages a day, right? It might not be the best because I'll go back and edit it, but I can do that in a day, couple pages. An artist who's fast can do a page a day. So I know the value of art because I've been an artist. I mean, I am an artist myself, right? I've drawn, I've painted, you know, I've got paintings all over the world, right? That I've given away, that people have bought, you know, clothing that I've actually designed, right? So it's not like I don't understand the art side of things. I do, because I do sculptures, ceramic sculptures, and all sorts of stuff, right? So for an event runner like myself to then say, hey, AI, it's okay. It's okay, come to my event. It's right next to a guy who's paying to be same thing, paying to sell their original work, right? I think this whole thing with Pensacon is going to blow up in their face. And I hope that, and I don't want to see anybody lose business, but this is not the way to promote your organization. There's a lot of money goes into running an event, right? I know how much it is, even for a small event like us. I know how much it was when we went to have the 10 times our size event, right? It was $100,000 or something, right? So you don't want anybody, and plus the volunteers, right? And the volunteers, the people who give up of their time. I mean, I had something like about 15 volunteers when I was running the event in Auckland. In our lone one, we have like a 10 to 12 each year from Girls High here, right? They come in, and some of, like a year earlier, like a previous, I think it was like maybe 21, 22, they actually painted a real big canvas painting for us, right? With our characters on it, which we show people as soon as they walked, they could see it, how beautiful it was. And this is on volunteer basis. I only paid for the materials, you know, and they got to do that as part of their art class. So all the art students, you know, they volunteer for us. So I understand what goes into putting together an event, like in small, you know, it doesn't matter if when you even do a big one, this just gets multiplied more. But it's the same work ethic that goes into it, and cost, you know, might be, you know, small events cost this amount. It just gets doubled and tripled when it gets larger. But it's just still the same way of running it, right? So I don't know why someone like Pensacon would go and do this, right? Like side with an AI artist over the artist. And it's kind of sad. I mean, I think it's kind of a bad place to be. you know, you can read it on their, you know, on their websites, like on Twitter or whatever it is, Pensacon, what they say. But like, you know, it's just weird how this is all is. I think it's just so sad that knowing that artists are really offended and angry at AI art users, art thieves, why they would go across and, you know, then promote it as such. Now, let me just check here. I actually have part of this. I actually had AI art thing, a video rocked up. So I just want to grab that and so we can have a look at that. Where are you? Is it there? I think the easiest way would be if I would just do one more check, and then I'll go. If I can't find it there, then I'll just go to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go to Facebook and get it from my friend's page that he linked on. Give me one sec. Because I remember sharing it, so not sure exactly when I shared it, but here you go. This is it. Art thieves. The biggest art heist in history, and sadly, it's true, right? So. Follow I Am a Designer, since we're using their work.
I've seen a lot of my friends just suffering because their work is so prominent, and they struggled for 10 years or more trying to get their style just to see someone else wearing their face and parading it, right?
There is nothing stopping AI companies from taking whatever you own from the internet, downloading it, and putting it into their training model. Nothing, really.
We're putting the whole creative future of humanity at risk here.
In the last couple of weeks, I spoke to many amazing artists and scientists about my mixed feelings of generative AI. Join me to hear their thoughts, my advice to creators, and predictions on what's to come. I will be perfectly honest with you. I am equally fascinated and terrified by generative AI. As a graphic designer, illustrator, and educator, I try to stay on top of any new technology and tool that helps self-expression and creativity. I still remember the first time I saw the potential in AI used for creating art. It was in 2018 when I saw the examples Scott Eaton achieved using his model trained exclusively on his own photography dataset from his Bodies in Motion project. I never thought that by 2020.
With AI, I'm okay with it if it's using your own artwork, right? Your own work. You took like this guy, he took his own photos and he did it himself based on his own work. I'm okay with it, 100% okay with it. That's one thing I want, right? I want to be able to have an AI that takes all my writings and helps me to, mock up ideas and concepts. But at the end of the day, I will take that, then I will re-gig it, because what I mean by that is like rewrite it until I'm happy with it. Like, I'm always editing my work, even down to when the artist sends me actual pages and I go, wait, this doesn't, the story, I need to change that, like maybe just a couple of sentences. And I've been honest about this with you guys all the time. I do this all the time with my work because I want my work to be as good as a representation of that art that my artist is sending me on my team, on our team. And I can just say, yeah, I'm putting up my 100% that the work that's coming to me, that I'm doing my absolute best at the end of the day before it gets to print. So I'm okay with this. That's why I think about personal AI, working off my own work, because I know I've lost so much work over the years, and just through data loss. Like, I remember losing one of my favorite stories. Like, I just started it, like, I think about 10 pages in, and it was kind of like a sci-fi pay it forward story. And I dropped my PDA in that time. It's like basically like a handheld computer. Like now we can have computer fully with the mobile phone, whereas before you just had a computer, handheld, private personal digital assistant, basically what you call. And then you had to get online. You had to have a mobile phone, so like the Wi-Fi would work with that. Anyway, I lost that, and like
before,
and I haven't still gotten back to writing that story because it hurt me so much to lose that emotionally, because I was so much into that, because I thought that was one of my biggest works. However, I've got so many more big works, right? But yeah.
We will have tools like Midjourney that can generate photorealistic images indistinguishable from real photos or art, and tools like OpenAI's Sora capable of generating ultra-realistic videos from text prompts. By now, most likely you are familiar with how AI images are generated. But in case you are not, let me give you a very brief and extremely simplified summary. You type in a few words, your prompt, describing what you want to see, and the AI model generates images for you that never existed before. For this process to work well, the AI model needs to be trained on a massive amount of images and their descriptions. At the moment, the most effective and most widely used dataset, Leon 5B, includes 5.85 billion uncurated images crawled from publicly available websites and cloud storages. This dataset was meant for research purposes only, but companies started to utilize it commercially within a few months after its release. There are all kinds of images in this dataset, from public domain pictures to a staggering amount of copyrighted work of both dead and living artists, and a fair amount of explicit content too. The creators of this dataset didn't get consent from anyone while collecting these images. There was no opt-in or opt-out, but since it was meant for research purposes only, it didn't seem to violate anyone's rights. You can get a better idea of the effectiveness and sheer amount of scraping that was used to generate Leon 5B dataset by going to haveibeentrained.com website. You can search the entire training data using someone's name, a domain name, or even a keyword. For instance, you can find out how many images of...
Hold on. Have I been trained? Have I been trained.com? Is that what it's called? Or am I wrong? Come on. Maybe I started wrong. It's taking forever. Yeah. Hold on. I'm sure it said, have I been trained? Yeah. All right. So let's go do this, right? Since we're doing this, let's go look at this. So let's do this, right? Jack Kirby is the first name that comes to my head. $5.8 billion captions. So this may take a minute. Look at that. All of this copyrighted work, right? So let's head back to the other post, to the other video. And let's see what's up.
Elephants were scraped off the internet, and you can start to see why AI models can generate images of elephants from any angle and in any artistic style. This is like scanning someone's brain to see how well they remember how an elephant looks. Only artists with extraordinary visual memory, like the late Kim Jung-gi, can come close to this level of familiarity and comprehension of a subject matter. Without going into the technicalities of how deep learning and stable diffusion works, here are some important things to understand about text-to-image generative AI models. They are designed to generate new images similar to what they have seen during their training. Once a model is trained on an image, it cannot unsee it. It is a bit like human memory, but much more accurate and extensive. A bit like photographic memory paired with unlimited storage capacity. To improve the speed of the generation process, all images that are fed into the AI model are compressed. Now, this compressed form of the image, or latent image, looks like noise to us, but the model is capable of reversing it back to a recognizable, almost identical image as the original input. This transformation between the original image and the recovered image after the diffusion process is crucial, as this is used as an excuse by AI companies to get around existing copyright laws and to allow them to cheat artists out of their rightful compensation. You may have heard of the term data laundering. It involves transforming stolen data so that it can be used for legitimate purposes. In this instance, the original data, 5.85 billion images, was collected from the web by non-profit research groups and then shared with for-profit companies.
Most people who are having the AI discussion are unfortunately starting from a business-first mindset. So all of the ideas, all of the discussion about what should be legal, what should not be legal, our discussions are sort of framed around companies that want to scale up to the millions to billions of dollars of revenue, right? And if you're going to be that kind of company, I don't think you can just have a charismatic CEO at the top who thinks that they have perfectly understood the future of technology and that for some reason thinks their fair-handed handling of this situation is going to assure the best outcomes for everybody. No, you need boards that are made up of actual artists, right? Not just technology people who stumbled upon a code that happens to make art. You need people who are really sort of outside of the situation, real stakeholders, to help guide these organizations.
Creators of Midjourney, one of the most popular text-to-image generators, have been recently caught discussing laundering copyrighted images whilst training their AI model. Many scientists who worked on developing AI technologies are also disillusioned by the predatory practices of AI companies used to harm individuals and entire industries.
There is nothing stopping AI companies from taking whatever you own from the internet, downloading it, and putting it into their training model. Nothing, really. There's no legal statute standing in the way. There's no regulatory agencies that say this is not allowed.
But why is it such a big deal, you might ask, that AI models have been trained on?
Okay, so you can see the rest of the video. The link's in the chat, right? It's here. This is a huge problem. People who want a quick buck are always going to find a way to get a quick buck, to make a quick profit, right? It's always going to be the same thing. What I find really interesting is, like, let me just show you, let me just get to a position, is YouTube, like YouTube is using a lot of AI, like YouTubers, right, is using a lot of AI, which one is it? That one, like for fun, right? There's a lot of AI being used for fun, right? Like you don't, because it's, kind of like promotional thing, making fun of stuff. The one I see most often is like the cancel pig. I don't know if that's like, if that is an actual AI user, someone's actually doing it. But that's sort of like, that's one of the ones I've seen the most often is like, where is it gone? I think it was like the cancel pig. But I mean, I've even seen like this here, right? I don't know if this is actual somebody, and I'm not having a go at Ethan or anything like that, but I'm thinking like, if you are putting these out there as memes or something, is it the same thing as like actually are you promoting it, right? By using AI artwork, are you actually promoting AI? It's like this, like the question I said at the start. If my friend or if your friend is using AI artwork, right, which is artwork as an artist or whatever, if you're not, that is stolen from other and created from other people's work, how do you deal with that? Like, right, that's this right at the start of this thing. I asked that, do you haul them up? Like in New Zealand, we say when we see somebody doing something bad, or just like out of you know, that's just a bit not, you know, stepping on, you know, a bit too far. You just go, pull your head in, mate. You know, and let's just let them know this is not cool. It's not cool, whatever they're doing, you know, and they can say, oh, no, I'm not going to do it, whatever. But are you like, how do you talk to people about AI art without, you know, without losing it, you know, without them, how do you get them to, you know, without forcing them to make a choice, but basically just make them, how do you go, hey, dude, you know that by doing this, you're using other people's stolen work, and you're, you know, you're using copyrighted work, you're using other people's hard, you know, work, time spent creating work, just so that you could put out something funny out in the world, or something creative regurgitated from them. So basically, you're using vomit of the original work by doing this. Because I've played around this myself. Like about a year ago, I was thinking like, well, how does this work? I've tried both the writing one, right, where the script writing, which a lot of like some of the top Hollywood people are using right now, right? Because that's why you see all this garbage movies, right, coming out that are like couple $100 million worth of movies coming out that has no soul in it, because they've taken away what is the soul of any artwork, which is the human touch. And so none of these movies make any money because it's like paint by numbers. It's basically what ChatGPT is, whatever, you know, whatever this AI art is just paint by numbers. And we know paint by numbers isn't, you know, isn't that great. So why are we thinking something like that is, you know, kind of paint by numbers when it comes to AI art? We're so happy to like promote it, make fun of it, use it. And that's why, like, I kind of, for myself, I look at it and I go, well, I don't want to use AI art to promote anything I do. Hey, dude. Cheers, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I've done that to others, by the way, guys, where I've got two screens open, I'm working, and I've got that, I got to leave that on. So, you know, because the algorithm is this, right? And the world we live in is that the view counts count. So I appreciate that. I really do. And I think this week or the week after, we've got actually an interview with Art. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just wish that other creators who are actual artists would feel the same way about AI art that me and my friends feel like, which is it's theft. And just even by promoting it and sharing on your page, it's like, look at this cool work. It's actually taking away from the original work that other people are doing. And by that, you know, this is a good way to end the stream, is I'm going to show you some really cool work, original work, right here. Right? This is from one of our artists, Joachim Hagström, right? Swedish artist, and he's done a cover that's part of that is going to be a retailer. Oh, sorry, this isn't the retail. This is actually the Kickstarter only cover. There's a retailer clean variant, which is you know, which is just for retailers. We're going to do 25 of them alone, and we're going to give them it's an retailer's incentive pack that we're doing for them. So if you're a retailer watching this out here, you know, like what I mean, like a comic shop owner, by saying retailer, right? If you're a comic shop owner, I have been a comic shop owner, I know what it's like. So I want to offer something, especially with this one, because Robot Nation #1 is like a one shot. The next, it's like, you know, it's part of a series, but it's like a one shot. And because it's a one shot, you don't have to, you know, wait 6 months for the next one and go, where is the next #2 issue coming up? You can basically sell this and you'll be happy with it, right? It's 2 short stories. It's like, there's a 12-page and there's a 26-page or 10-page or 26-page story. So it's all up. It's a 36-page comic book. Sorry, I should say it's 20. 28-page comic book, story-wise, within a 36-page, with Batman and everything. So it's a 36-page comic book. So it's like, extra pages of comics in there, right? And so I thought it would be a great way as an incentive for comic book stores to be part of this Kickstarter that we're doing, as an incentive for them to hold our comic and sell it. See, like, you don't even have to worry about buying 2 or 3. You can when it comes out, because I know 2 and 3 is going to be like another 2-shot mini arc, right? And so, but this one here is a standalone issue, number 1. So you don't have to worry about like stressing about, the guys want it, number 2, is it coming out next month? When it's coming out? When it does, we'll let you know. However, you don't have to worry about it because this is a one-shot number 1 issue. I could have almost done it as a number 0, but I don't like to start with 0 because it just kind of means like it's like a preview issue. Is there stuff in there or not? It's like, what's missing of it? Is it sketches? However, this is a great book, right? And I'm really so proud of it. And so all the other teams that are working on their own projects are doing a cover for this one, to show their artwork that's going to be coming up in their own book. So I'm quite excited. So hopefully you guys, if you are a store out there, please check it out and check out the Kickstarter. And I just would love for your support. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching this. If you pick up on the replay, let me know, man, what you thought. I'm going to be clipping some of the vids and my thoughts and stuff, and let it, I like to know what you guys think about what I'm doing. Also about the artwork, about like, I would like you to be part of this, part of this dialogue as much as possible. And so hang out and chat. Let me know. I think we've got a stream tomorrow, and we've got a stream on Thursday and a stream on Friday. They're all different streams. So this is, this one's basically pop culture and politics, so you get to hear what I think about them and sort of my own personal opinions. But also, I want your thoughts as well. Put them down in the comments. I'll read them, and maybe we'll bring it up as well and think, make a dialogue about it. I do appreciate it, guys, your interaction with me. So wherever you are, be well, be safe. And like I always say, if you've got a loved one nearby, give them a hug and a kiss. Let them know you care. And if they're far away, jump on, give them a text message, give them a call, get on Facebook, let them know you care, and you're thinking of them. So wherever you are, be well, be safe. We'll catch you next time. Ka kite anō. Give us a like, give us a share, and do subscribe. Appreciate it.